Paris. Even the name feels like a soft exhale, a city built from candlelit whispers and footsteps that echo like secrets across ancient bridges. But viewers, today on K-Drama Television, the story you are about to hear didn't just happen in Paris. It exploded out of Paris like a romance-laced firework that absolutely no one was prepared for. And when it detonated, it sent shivers racing through fandoms from Seoul to São Paulo. Because Jun-Ho and Lim YoonA didn't just go on a quiet overseas schedule, they returned from that trip as if they carried a story that could tilt the entire K-pop and K-drama universe on its axis. Thank you, dear viewers, for tuning in again. Settle in, because what unfolded in Paris was the kind of emotional chaos that begs to be told with every breath, every beat, every tiny tremor of the heart. This is one of those moments where all of us, yes, us, the global family glued to this story, felt like we were eavesdropping on a real-life drama, only the cast didn't know the cameras were rolling. It all started with one blurry airport photo. Just one. A shot that looked accidental, maybe even innocent, but the moment it hit social media, the world felt like it had been unplugged for half a second. There they were, Jun-Ho and YoonA, emerging from Charles de Gaulle Airport with that gentle, unbothered calm that celebrities try to wear like a shield. Yet something about their expression, something in the barely there space between them, told a different story. You know that feeling when you sense a spark in the air before you even see the flame? That's the exact sensation that circulated online the moment fans noticed the way YoonA reached for her sunglasses, while Jun-Ho naturally drifted closer, not touching, but nearly, as if the universe had nudged them toward the same gravitational pull. The whispers began instantly. Viewers, your notifications must have been fighting for survival that morning, because every fan page, every X account, every IG update turned into a digital forest fire. The excitement, the disbelief, the frantic zooming into pixels, we all became detectives. We all became witnesses. And the question that danced across everyone's lips like an unstoppable chant was simple, dangerous, and electrifying. Did Jun-Ho and YoonA just go on a private trip together? But as the world was spiraling into speculation, the real story was happening quietly on the other side of the city of love. Paris has a way of pressing gently on a person's heart, making feelings bloom where they've been hidden, turning unspoken things into nearly visible threads. And somehow, the city wrapped itself around them like a silk ribbon tying two stories together. On their second day in Paris, the real shockwave hit. A fan from Korea, studying abroad, captured a moment that sent the internet into meltdown mode. Jun-Ho and YoonA were spotted strolling along the Seine River. Strolling, not rushing, not hiding, just walking the way two people walk when they share a bubble of comfort that others can't penetrate. The fan who spotted them said it was so surreal she froze, unable to move, because they didn't behave like coworkers or acquaintances. They didn't behave like co-stars fulfilling a duty. They moved together like two hearts that already understood each other's rhythm. YoonA wore a soft cream coat that fluttered every time the wind kissed it, her hair pulled back loosely, catching the sunlight like strands of gold rebelling against winter. Jun-Ho wore black, simple, effortless, the kind of style that screams confidence without trying. But it wasn't their outfits that captivated the observer. It was the moment when YoonA laughed, head tilted a little, hand rising to hide her smile, and Jun-Ho turned to her with the kind of expression that made every viewer clutch their chest. It was the look of someone who forgot the world for half a second. Someone who saw only one person in a crowd of millions. Someone who, well, you know. By the time that clip hit social media, fans were screaming in every language known to humankind. The timeline was a battlefield between excitement and disbelief. Some didn't want to get their hopes up, others were already planning imaginary weddings, and many more were simply replaying the 5-second video as if it were the final scene of a long-awaited romance drama. But Paris wasn't done with them yet. On what fans believe was their final night in the city, something even more shocking happened. A paparazzi photo, grainy but revealing, caught them leaving a tiny, warm-looking cafe tucked between old buildings with painted shutters. It wasn't the restaurant that stunned fans. It wasn't the hour. It wasn't even the fact that they looked comfortable. It was the detail that sent the world spiraling. YoonA reached to adjust her scarf, and for a second, just a heartbeat, Jun-Ho helped her fix it. A simple gesture. But gestures, viewers, can be louder than words. Because you don't fix someone's scarf unless you've crossed a certain threshold of familiarity. You don't hover your hands near someone's neck unless the air between you feels safe. And YoonA didn't step back. She didn't flinch. She simply looked at him, soft and steady, before they continued walking into the quiet Paris night. At that point, fans had only one reaction left. They did what? And honestly, who could blame them? When they returned to Seoul days later, the atmosphere crackled at the airport. Fans waited with cameras and hearts that beat too fast, and journalists sharpened their senses for even the slightest whiff of confirmation. But Jun-Ho and YoonA walked out with that same calm, almost playful confidence. They didn't hold hands, but they didn't distance themselves either. They didn't hide behind masks, scarves, or security floods. They simply existed together in a way that felt natural. Too natural. Almost like they had agreed on a silent truth. Let the world think what it will. And the world did. You, our viewers, witnessed the earthquake online. You felt the tremors, the exhilaration, the disbelief, the beautiful frustration of not knowing whether they were giving us hints or just living freely. Every fan discussion was like a spark jump from screen to screen. Did they travel together? Was it work? Was it personal? Was it both? And the most courageous fans said out loud the question others only whispered: are we witnessing the beginning of something real? Because here's the thing. Jun-Ho and YoonA have always had chemistry. They've always had that quiet magic, that magnetic pull, that hint of something unscripted beneath their interactions. On screen, they were electric. Off screen, they were cautious. But Paris seemed to unlock something. Whether it was the freedom of being far from home, or the gentle anonymity of foreign streets, or simply the warmth of being around someone who understands every layer of your busy, complicated life, something shifted. Viewers, the truth is that no one outside their closest circles knows exactly what happened between them. But sometimes, the details that slip through the cracks tell a story louder than official statements. Sometimes, a shared laugh in another country speaks louder than a press release. Sometimes, the way two people walk side by side tells you everything you need to know, even if they don't say it themselves. After returning to Seoul, Jun-Ho had a schedule where fans swore he seemed more cheerful than usual, as if Paris had carved a quiet joy into him. YoonA, during her next appearance, glowed in that effortless way she has, but this time, it felt deeper, almost like she carried a memory she wasn't ready to share, but couldn't hide. The comments sections exploded with theories, hopes, playful arguments, wild imaginations, and genuine concern about respecting their privacy. Some fans begged for confirmation. Some pleaded, just let them be happy. Others insisted they were simply friends and that the world was overthinking everything. But regardless of opinions, there was one undeniable truth. Jun-Ho and YoonA managed to enchant the entire world without saying a single word. And that is the power of Paris. The power of connection. The power of two people moving through a city as if the air around them belonged to them alone. Did they go on that trip for work? Did they take time for themselves? Did they share moments that only they will ever understand? We may never know the full truth. But what we do know, what every viewer felt at the center of their chest, is that something in Paris stirred emotions that were impossible to ignore. And viewers, that brings us to the question that has burned through the internet like a comet trailing glitter and chaos. Did Jun-Ho and YoonA really do that? Did they really just set the entire fandom ablaze with a single overseas trip? Did they really deliver a story that feels too magical to be coincidence? Only they know. But the rest of us, our global family watching this unfold together, we felt the thrill of every step they took in that city. We felt the suspense, the heartbeat-skipping moments, the silent signals. We lived this story with them, frame by frame, whisper by whisper, rumor by rumor, hope by hope. So until the truth emerges, if it ever does, hold on to this feeling, this tension, this beautiful uncertainty that only a story like theirs can ignite. Because something tells me, viewers, that the Paris chapter is only the beginning. Something tells me this story is far from over. Something tells me the universe might still have more surprises tucked away, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves like petals unfolding in slow, breathtaking motion. And when that moment comes, we'll be here again, all of us, watching, feeling, wondering, celebrating, and breathing in the next heartbeat of this extraordinary connection. For now, let Paris speak for them.